I'm done. Mortal Kombat Mythologies has zero replayability, shitty controls, cheap deaths. It's a frustrating exercise in patience. It's shit. Oh! Oh! What are you doing here?
Gotcha!
Fuck. What is that?
So I took a little break to clear my mind from the absurdity of Sub-Zero, so I can go in with a fresh, clear head, excited about coming home from the day job, and sitting down and relaxing, playing a new video game. So let's check out this PS1 classic. What the fuck? I did it. I finally did it. I found the worst video game I have ever played. Maybe I am being a little impulsive right now because I can think of many examples of terrible video games. Now, most people are going to jump over to Superman 64 and E.T. right away, but that's too easy. And I argue that those examples barely even qualify as video games. Do you love the fast-paced action of the Mortal Kombat series? You love the strategic combat of the Mortal Kombat series, forcing fighters to predict each other's movements and react accordingly. Do you love the epically violent fatalities used to punish your opponents? Well, you're not going to find any of that here. Mortal Kombat Special Forces feels nothing like a Mortal Kombat game, and I get it. It's a side story, not meant to be an entry in the overall main series. But so was Sub-Zero, and at least that felt like Mortal Kombat at times. Midway was clearly trying to expand the lore of the series outside of the fighting games with side stories, but Mortal Kombat Special Forces sold so horribly and was received so negatively when it came out in the year 2000. They didn't even touch Mortal Kombat again until 2002's Deadly Alliance. And it's not like it was based off of a character that nobody cares about. It could have easily been called Mortal Kombat The Rico Chronicles. If you don't know who Rico is, that further illustrates my point. Special Forces focuses around a fairly popular and recognizable character, Major Jackson Briggs, better known as Jax, the head-popping, arm-ripping member of the international crime-fighting organization called Special Forces, armed with badass metal arms that for some reason have the ability to transform in Mortal Kombat 3. And he's also a close, loyal friend to another Special Forces member, Sonya Blade. I remember seeing early screenshots of the game in gaming magazines and feeling so excited. It looked like we were going to get this awesome, almost buddy cop type of adventure starring Jax and Sonya. I imagined a third-person action shooter in the style of Siphon Filter, or maybe even a two-player co-op shoot-em-up in the style of Contra, maybe. Nope. Didn't get any of that. During production, co-creator of Mortal Kombat, John Tobias, left the company in the middle of the game's development. The entire production was a mess. It was going to be on Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast also. It ended up exclusively on PS1, and Sonya Blade was completely cut from the game. So we were left with this weird copy of Fighting Force, which was a 3D beat-em-up that was actually fun to play. The main difference is that Special Forces is boring, and that's the key theme of this game. Boring. Instead of sending a bunch of enemies at you as you beat them down with awesome combos, you spend most of the game running around empty hallways looking for key cards or keys used to open various doors, going to the next section until you find a boss. That's it. That's the whole game. The review is over. I guess I should go into more detail, and explain the shittiness of this game. Sub-Zero was a bad game too, but at least it kept you awake, and I can't say it was boring either. It did require some level of attention to get through it. So let's go over the story and Jax's character. Jax is an absolute empty shell of a character in this game. He has no character development, which even Sub-Zero had some, and everything about his character is your typical tough black dude stereotype in the style of movies like Black Dynamite or Shaft. He drives a purple Pitmobile and has the same one-liner he says over and over again.
You want some fries with that whoop ass? Want some fries with that whoop ass?
And the combos you unlock have extremely creative names, such as Get Some Sucka. Speaking of the combos, as you play through the game, you earn more experience and unlock more combos, which eventually end up being fairly useless, since enemies eventually start packing guns, so you can't even get really close to them without getting hurt. There were two combos I did slightly enjoy though. The bear hugger that eventually causes enemies to explode for some reason, which is hilarious to me. And the spinal crusher keeps pounding on the enemy until they're literally crushed like an accordion. But they're also so impractical to do. I only did them once or twice just to see what they looked like, and then I went to one of the easier combos. The Spinal Crusher, for example, requires you to press circle, triangle, X, X, triangle, triangle, circle, circle. That's so ridiculously long and complicated to remember for a basic combo. It's just easier to use one of the early ones you learned that are just as effective, like X, X, triangle. Anyways, we'll come back and revisit the gameplay. The game opens up with Kino and his criminal Black Dragon gang breaking out of prison, and Jax has tracked them each down. One thing I do have to compliment this game on, probably the only thing you'll hear me compliment the game on, is that it created original Mortal Kombat characters. I do like that. And Kano is looking for some crystal for some reason that's never explained in the game. Not that you give a shit about the story or anything else other than getting this travesty over with when you're struggling through this adventure. And the few cutscenes look like complete ass, blocky and blurry, but I mean, I guess I can't fault the game since this is what graphics looked like at the time. Even good games like Spider-Man look just as bad, so I'll give it a pass. But not only does it look ugly, it sounds ugly too, with some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard, and found within a Metal Gear Solid style communicator section after each level.
Jax, well, sounds to me like someone has made it all the way back home.
Oh yeah.
The entire game is only 5 levels long and is only 3.5 hours long, and the level design is uninspired as hell. Again, with Sub-Zero, at least they had some level of imagination. Special Forces Level 1, the warehouse. It's a generic warehouse. You walk around, clear the area of random bad guys until you find the boss door. The combat in this game requires next to no skill. Realistically, you can just mash all the buttons on the controller, which do different kinds of punches and kicks, or you can use weapons that run out of ammo fairly quickly. You know, you'd think since Jax was a member of a special police force, he'd come in packing heat already, instead of picking up random guns and searching for ammo clips. I'm just saying. By the end of the game, you get a rocket launcher and a grenade launcher that blow up enemies into little chunks of flesh, so these early weapons get real useless real fast. Anyways, back to level 1. Once you find the boss door and get to the boss fight, you fight Killer Moth from the Batman series. In Mortal Kombat, he's called No Face, a dude with a burnt face and a flamethrower. He spreads fire left to right, and when he takes a quick break, you have to go in and beat his ass.
You want some fries with that whoop ass?
Level 2, the sewers. Great, another level like the water temple in Sub-Zero. This level has more key cards, more endless wandering through tunnel after tunnel that looks the same, figuring out where to go while enemies come at you every once in a while, and this is where you realize how shitty the camera is. Quite possibly the worst camera I've ever dealt with in a video game. If this game is from a third-person perspective, why doesn't the camera go behind the character and follow along as you walk forward? It does whatever the hell it wants, whenever it wants, and you have no control of it. Most of the time going into some awkward overhead view where you can't even see what's around you, resulting in enemies shooting at you, and you have no idea where they're firing from because you can't see a damn thing. This is a constant issue throughout the entire game. The boss for level 2 is another original character, Tazia, a generic ninja woman with 2 swords. Nothing too difficult here, nothing much to say about her. She teleports around the stage and cuts you with her swords. Every once in a while you get an opening and you beat her down. Level 3, the towers. You get to traverse through extremely creative environments, such as a parking garage and a building full of criminals in suits. But I did find certain aspects of this level kind of hilarious. The bottom levels of the building include a locker room with scantily clad women walking around for no reason. What the hell? What is going on here? Oh, can you imagine if this game came out today and you were able to do something like this? Can you imagine the amount of angry feminists that would come out and boycott this game? Oh my god, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Alright, now I have to meet Sophia. Red-haired special agent Sophia will leave the drop-off for you at the designated spot. What designated spot? How am I even supposed to know where to go?
Gotcha, sucker.
Oh, shit. That was the agent that I was supposed to meet.
Gotcha, sucker.
So yeah, apparently this red-haired bikini woman is the secret agent that you're supposed to find, and is one of your co-workers that's supposed to lead you to the locker, and you have to open it to progress further. I killed her without even realizing she wasn't another random enemy. No game overs, no lost lives, no repercussions at all. Wow. The boss of level 3 is Jarek, or as I like to call him, Imitation Kano, also introduced in Mortal Kombat 4. And wait a minute, what's he doing in here? I thought I killed him in Mortal Kombat 4.
Please, don't drop me. Wait, I promise. Too late, Jarek. You can't drop me. You have to uphold the law. You have to arrest me. Wait, this is brutality. You can't do it. Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
In Special Forces, Jarek is annoying as shit. All he does is run around like the Flash, shooting fireballs at you that freeze you in place, and boomerang knives or whatever the hell they are that keep hitting you. After a ton of frustration, I realized how easy every boss is if you break the game, and it's easily broken. If you get in close and just start wailing on them and press the buttons fast enough, they literally can't move. Amazing programming right there. Amazing. Level 4, some other fictional country. This level is the definition of annoyance and boredom. Bad guys shoot rockets at you relentlessly from the cliffs. In a good game, you can get into first-person view and shoot them. But in Special Forces, the controls are so bad that by the time you do get into first-person view and aim at them properly, they've already fired another rocket at you. And later on, there's a barrage of enemies doing the same thing. The only way I found to be successful was to haul ass and run by everybody, until I arrived at a cave with a dragon symbol on it. Oh wait, I forgot this was a Mortal Kombat game. I guess they had to put the logo on the door to remind players that they were playing a Mortal Kombat game. And this is where Special Forces tries to be Tomb Raider, forcing you to hunt around these catacombs looking for these rubies that you then have to place on the correct altars. There's 3 of them total, all found after wandering around the tunnels, blowing up fake walls, and running into more enemies that are hard to see due to the shitty camera. When you find all 3, the door at the end opens. And the boss fight for this level is Tremor. And I actually have something positive to say here. I've always been a big fan of all the Mortal Kombat ninjas, so seeing a new one added to the mix was really cool. Tremor, as his name implies, can hit the ground, creating shockwaves, and he can throw fire. And I find this character interesting because Mortal Kombat is a series. It had so many rumors behind it that were untrue, that ended up being true later because the developers would catch wind of these rumors and make it real. I actually talked about that in huge detail in my Mortal Kombat 2 review, so click right up there, check it out when you're done watching this video. I remember one rumor in particular that was going around in my school. There was a secret ninja found only in Mortal Kombat 3. He was orange or brown in some stories, and he had like Earth-like powers, controlled sand, and of course his name was Sand. It was complete bullshit. It wasn't true in any way, shape, or form. And I really don't know if there's any validity to this being a widespread rumor. Leave me a comment down below if you heard that growing up, because it was all over my school. I specifically remember that, but working on this review and looking for information on it, I couldn't find a thing about it online. Maybe it was just something that went around my school. I don't know. But oddly enough, there he is, years later. A brown ninja that has powers that control Earth. And a character that originated from this shitty game actually made it into modern Mortal Kombat in Mortal Kombat X's DLC.
Tremor wins. Fatality. Tremor wins. Fatality.
Just like any other boss, as long as you break his programming and wail on him, he's easy to beat. Level 5, the final stage. This level is the worst. The entire thing is a huge maze with teleporters all over the place. There's no sense of direction, no way to know where you're going. Your only choice is to wander around looking for more jewels, to turn on a portal, to take you into another maze that has more portals that you have to find, and... Oh no, please not this shit again. Please. And of course the camera gets in the way so much that you can't see where you're going, so you have to stop every 2 seconds and switch to first person view just to make sure you're not about to accidentally run off a platform. And finally, when you get to the final boss, it's Kino. Kino? Is the final boss? I mean, I guess it makes sense. He is Jax and Sonya's arch nemesis, but I mean, he's never really been this big threat. And if you try to fight him the right way by trying to find a strategy that will work on him, it's going to drive you nuts. He runs around at light speeds, even faster than Jarek did, which I have never seen him do in a Mortal Kombat game, and chucks his knives at you just like Jarek, but they follow you slightly. It's annoying beyond belief, so just take advantage of the game's shitty AI, stop wasting time, and just wail on him.
You want some fries with that whoop ass?
So Jax captures Kano and takes the ruby he was looking for, and that's it. Well, that's the end of the game. 3.5 hours wasted. I don't know whether to be pissed off that I will never get those 3.5 hours back, or relieved that I didn't spend that long playing this game. And mind you, it's only 3.5 hours because I spent maybe an hour or so lost in the last level. This game is garbage. I take back everything bad I said about Sub-Zero. That game is at the level of Ocarina of Time and the original Super Mario Brothers in terms of quality. In comparison, if you want a good Mortal Kombat side game, go play Shaolin Monks, or better yet, just go play a real Mortal Kombat game. This game sucks, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like and a comment down below letting me know. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on social media. You can also check out some of my other videos or click my Patreon link if you'd like to support GamerThumbTV. This is Fabian. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.